Joining me now is a man who will fight Adam Borics, upcoming Bellator event in Connecticut. Jeremy Kennedy joins the show. Thanks a lot for joining me today, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
It's been a while since we've chat, and the hair is blonde. How did that come about?
Yeah, I did it last year, right before my fight, but my hair grows so fast that it was done. It was back to normal by the time I fought. And my favorite time is like the first haircut after, when it's kind of like half grown out. So I kind of timed it this way, where I'm gonna get it cut next week, and it should be good for the fight. 2 weeks from now, or 13, 12 days.
For sure. Now you've prepared a lot in Vegas before. Yeah, you've trained with plenty of different teams over the course of your career, but you've made Vegas your home now. You've actually moved down there. You brought the wife down there, and she left her business and everything up here in Canada.
Yeah.
You moved down there. What's life been like in Vegas for you in comparison to BC at this point?
Oh, awesome, man. It's just kind of where I need to be. Like, uh, the last few years, especially the last year with COVID and everything, I've been spending a lot more time down here, just because at first it was me coming back and forth. Like, I would fly home on Friday and be back out here on a Sunday night or a Monday morning. So I was constantly out going back home, which made the the big decision kept getting pushed back because we were making it work, and then it was actually the COVID that kind of helped persuade my side because of the leniency they have out here compared to BC. Her business was shut down for a long time, and all the gyms were closed. I wasn't getting the training I needed. Um, and the quarantine, we just couldn't go back and forth. So she just made the commitment to come down with me, and then in that we had to get our rent a spot out here. We didn't want to pay two a mortgage back in Canada and then rent out here. So rented out our house back in Canada, and just kind of made the decision. We had to make bigger decisions quicker, and it pushed us into coming out here for full time, and it's perfect, and I will go back and forth. Like, we've got, both of our parents have basement suites that we can hang out with for a few weeks, and then but this is now our hub, our home base.
You when you first made the trek down there, you drove the first time down there. Talk about clearing customs and stuff like that, because they obviously asked you what were you doing making a trip down to Vegas.
Yeah, in the middle of the pandemic, right? So it's I guess I'm deemed essential. I was able to drive. All I had to do was, update my visa, because it was still on the PFL visa, because I was already in the US when I signed the Bellator contract, and the Bellator fight all came about. So they applied for it while I was already in the US. And then when I flew back, nothing happened, because it's just coming back to Canada. But then as I re-entered, I had to update it. So that kind of just bypassed any other questions of what am I doing? It was all there. They kind of understood, right, exactly what I was doing. I was re-entering on a P1 visa through Bellator, and I explained that I was coming down permanently, and it's all good with the visa. I'm able to, and and I'm paying taxes here and all that stuff anyway. So it was pretty easy. Like, I thought I was gonna have to have a big, my game face on and explaining, and if they were gonna let me, I didn't know. I still didn't know if I was gonna get turned away, but no questions were asked. They just kind of stamped my passport, brought me in, did a bunch of stuff on the passport, and sent me on my way.
Are you now considered a permanent resident there? Like, how long are you allowed to stay?
Yeah, I'm permanent resident because I pay income taxes here, which kind of sucks because I want to keep my permanent residency in Canada as well, just for the benefits and all that, medical and everything like that. So I'm kind of paying global income tax in two different countries. But I got my mom's my Canadian accountant, and I have Brad Smuckler out here for my American accountant. So between the two of them, we make it work. I can write a lot of things off. Beauty about being a pro MMA fighter.
For sure. Now, Extreme Couture is your home in Vegas. Big performance by Francis Ngannou last night.
Yeah.
You see him in the gym much?
hmm Yeah, all the time. We got a lot of the same practices, and then his one-on-ones are pretty in line with my one-on-ones. So I'm always seeing him in the gym. We don't obviously train hand to hand with each other, but yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to have the gym bring home a belt. First big title since Randy had it. So Francis pretty much brought Randy's title back home, so it's pretty cool.
For sure. Now, Eric Nicksick, I noticed Francis's striking was on point last night. It was crisp. It was clean. Obviously, Eric had a big thing to do with that. What has Eric done to your game to improve it in comparison to what you got up here in BC?
Just a full game. He's put it all together well. I know him like a brother. He's my big brother. I've known him for 4 years. Coming up on 4 years, and he just knows me. He knows my tendencies. He knows what I like. Fight week, everything like that. Fight camp, my training. He knows I'm a very type A type guy. Like everything has to be by the numbers, and he just level heads me. Clears my head when I'm kind of overthinking things, and he's put a lot of my ground and pound, which is my game. My grappling, and he's added a lot of the stand up and blended it together well. We have a lot of good sequences on the cage, which I was always good at, but he's just sharpened it up, and he's unreal in the corner. He's one of the best at that. Like a lot of coaches are good coaches, and then you throw them in the corner, and it's just, you could have just a teammate in there. You could have anybody, but Eric actually takes a lot of pride into to work in a corner, and it's almost like another game, another aspect of the MMA, and he works really well with it. And he's the guy that I need on the road. I love having him, and he's an unreal coach, and it's all showing now. He's worked a lot hard, but he wasn't getting the credit he deserved.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you can see how excited he gets for his guys. Like last night,
Oh, yeah.
He was probably the most excited guy in the cage other than Markel Martin. But, I mean, he was so excited. And do you feel like this is I hate to say it, but Francis winning the belt is sort of a turnaround for him because, he's been recognized by a few outlets out there, but he's arguably one of the best coaches in the game and very overlooked still and underrated. But with Francis winning the belt, do you think this is sort of a turning of the corner for him?
Yeah. I think it's just kind of nothing's changed. He's still the same coach he was yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, last month. But he's now he just has some credentials. A little bit chip on his shoulder. He's got the heavyweight baddest man on the planet. And Aljo, he jumped into the corner of that, and he's working with Aldo last, I think, 2 camps since this fight's been rebooked a few times. So, technically that's his second title, but he's been with Francis, and Francis has been with the team for a long time now. So I think that this one sits a little bit nicer. It's more earned for Eric. He's built Francis up after that loss to Stipe, and he's kind of really evolved his game, and it's shown. You had Francis stuffing Stipe's takedowns and making him pay in the turtle position with the ground and pound, and even attempting his own takedowns. It was just really cool to see, and I know Eric's earned it, and he's pretty proud of that one, and I'm excited to follow this up now.
Do you still keep in contact with Dan Golkar up here in BC? Like, is he still part of your team?
Oh yeah, he's my brother, man. Even when I go home, I see him all the time, and we're always talking, and I've kind of switched my environments and everything, but he's a friend first and foremost, so when I go back to BC, I still train with the usual suspects, at Revolution, Bibiano, Craig, all those guys, so I see AB, my strength and conditioning coach, and it goes to hip pads there with Dan, and I just kind of have 2 different homes right now, and this right now is more permanent for me. But yeah, Dan's, he was at my wedding, he's my guy, so he's still one of my good friends.
Your Bellator debut was at Bellator 253, decisive victory, decision over Matt Bissett. Impressive performance to check the first fight off of Bellator, and then a big fight coming up against Adam Borics. Were you surprised by this matchup and that it took so long sort of to line something up with them? Because your last performance was in November. I knew you wanted to get in there very quickly. Unfortunately, it's only 5 months, but still, a quicker turnaround probably would have been nice.
Yeah, but that's just out of my circumstances. If you look at the Bellator, I fought on Bellator 2, whatever it was, 53. Only like 4. Yeah, and now I'm fighting on 56. So they took the hiatus, and so it's out of my control. I was one of their last shows, and now I'm one of their first shows back. So they're keeping me busy. They're doing their part. they obviously had a lot going on in the back, getting the Showtime deal and starting up the year again. And as soon as they did, they put me on the second card they're airing. So I'm happy with that.
Very
Uh,
similar records between the two of you, 16-2 against the 16-1 guy.
yeah.
Obviously, a victory over Adam is a huge accomplishment in your career. What do you know about the guy? How do you see this fight playing out? And do you feel like he has any strong suits against you?
Yeah, like I think this fight means even more now that they're implementing the ranking system. You know, I think you gotta think. Although I don't believe he should be ranked higher than me, he probably will with his credentials in Bellator. You know, he's fought a lot longer. He's fought their former champs and fought in the Grand Prix and all that. And I'm just the new kid on the block. You know, with one win one fight in Bellator. You know, it doesn't matter if I've been fighting, you know, world class promotions for coming up on 5 years now. It's just nice for me. I come in, beat this guy, probably wherever he's ranked, and I just, you know, take that ranking. As for his skill set, he's good. You know, he's sharp, technical striker, but he's obviously shown some holes, and I really think I can exploit a lot of them. You know, I think this is a great fight for me for I like a showcase. You know, I can go and put a dominant performance against him. And he's going to bring out the best in me. He's not a guy that I can just go out there and one aspect's going to do it. You know, I got to go out there and, you know, we're going to play with fire a little bit and just beat him from the feet to the floor.
Now, your PFL performance, obviously those were fantastic performances. It was a tournament itself. Bellator is known for their tournaments and their
Yeah.
Grand Prix as well. Is that something you're interested, knowing that you've done something similar in the past, or do you just want to move up the ranks and hopefully eventually get to that title shot?
Yeah, it's more so the ranks and the title. Like I want a belt, you know, I like the rankings, fighting guys that are, you know, on the same come up as me. And the tournament was cool, but I mean the money's good too. You know, they're $1 million grand prize. I'm okay with that too, but I think it'll be a while till Bellator circles around and does another 45. Just with I think they do like one a year, one weight class a year, and you know they've got the light heavyweights coming up, and you got to imagine they're probably going to do a female flyweight coming around after that, and so that's a few years away. Right now, I'm just focusing on Borics and just climbing the ranks. You know, getting to that title. The title's kind of tied up with the Grand Prix still, probably for the rest of the year. But you know, after it's a good landscape for me because once this Grand Prix is done, you know, all these guys are coming off of L's, coming out of the tournament, and there's a new face coming up, and beating a guy like Borics, who's ranked pretty high, it'll put me in a good spot.
It's April now. That's April when the fight happens. When would you like to? How many times would you like to fight in 2021?
2021, I mean, ideally 3, but with a pretty late start and coming up into April, it's, I mean, I would like to fight again for sure by sometime in the end of summer. You know, take a little bit of break after this. I got some moving back and forth between here and BC to do, and with quarantines and all that, kind of makes it difficult. But you know, a September October type turnaround would be ideal, and then that'll get me started again into early next year. If I'm being realistic, I would think it's probably going to be 2 this year. You know, this one and then one more near the end of the year, September, October, November, and then hopefully it can bounce back right away into early 2022.
Moving away from the fight, a few more things before I let you go here. I noticed on your wrist there you got a whoop strap. I want to talk
Yeah.
about that. Do you use it a ton? What
Oh yeah.
significance does it have? Like what do you notice from it? Because I see a lot of fighters using it these days. Do you really notice like sleep patterns? How does it help you, man?
Yeah, I've used it since for about over a year now. So before the big craze, you know, I've been on it pretty religiously. I use it mostly for sleep. Training, burning calories, and all that is good. I try to use it as much as I can wear it. It's pretty easy to wear. That's the big thing. Like I had the Apple Watch forever, and you can't grapple with it. You can't do any of that stuff. Where this, you know, I just wrap my hands if I'm hitting pads or grappling. I can put it over gloves. And jiu-jitsu, they've got like an arm sleeve combat, you know, whoop sleeve that I can just put it on. It's like a rash guard, so it's able to track everything. But I mostly use it for my heart rate, my resting heart rate when I wake up in the morning, and how many hours I sleep. It kind of motivates me to okay, do I want to stay up a little bit more and watch one more show, or do I get 30 more minutes in bed? Because it shows a lot of people think, oh, I go to bed at 11 and I wake up at 7 a.m. I slept 8 hours. But there's a lot of time you're laying in bed and you're not asleep, and that's what this thing's perfect for. It lets you know how long you're in bed and how long you're sleeping, and then your REM, your light sleep, and all that kind of stuff too. So trying to get to bed earlier, just the more hours in bed equals the more hours of sleep, because not necessarily if I like cut it right to like 8 hours, I'm not going to get 8 hours of sleep. And I try to strive for, 8 during the week and 10 on the weekends. It's what Islam Makachev, that's his routine. So I try to piggyback off him and use that.
Nice. You said if you should watch one more show. What are you watching right now?
Right now, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad with my wife, and then Shameless is my show that I watch on my own.
Man, hilarious!
Yeah,
so funny.
and they're up to date. They've got the whole COVID thing going on in their new season, so it's funny, like where you have to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. And yeah.
Final question for you then. You've been in the game for quite some time. I remember you back in the day at local jiu-jitsu tournaments and whatnot. Looking back, do you have any regrets on your career or any changes you wish you had made along the way?
Management wise, I think I wish I got with Dominance and Ali Abdelaziz a lot sooner. He would have took control of my career. Not that I'm happy where I'm at now. It's just I had a lot of bouncing around in different homes, UFC, Brave, PFL, Bellator, and that's just because I tried to do it on my own. I had tried to have a little bit too much control on myself. Fell into some bad management decisions, and got rid of some people along the way and whatnot. And ever since I've been with Dominance and with Ali, he's been amazing. He's took control of my career completely, made sure I'm paid what I'm worth, made sure I'm fighting when I want. Like, he knows when I want to fight, when I'm eager and I'm down here and I'm grinding and I'm trying to get a fight so that I can go relax and go back to BC for a little bit. And he's taking care of me, and he's local. He's in Vegas, so I've been able to train and see him firsthand, and he's given me opportunities to be able to train with Khabib team, the Dagestanis, and lots of work with them, and went down and followed them into AKA last year, and they've been out here in Vegas training at the Apex, and I've been training with them, and he just gave me more avenues, and way more connections in this game. And so I just wish I kind of jumped onto that sooner. Although I'm happy where I'm at now, like I said, it just, who knows if I would have got here sooner or what, or if I would have still been in the UFC, or if I would have been stuck around in PFL. Like, he got me out of PFL when they were canceling the whole season, so he kept me fighting during the pandemic. So I that's probably the big thing I wish I could do sooner. But other than that, everything I've done has led me to this point. Training wise, teams I've trained with, guys I've trained with, coaches I've been with. So I'm happy there. I never want to take away from any of the coaches I've been with to say that I wish I left sooner, or I wish I changed this up, or anything like that. But yeah, I think that would be management, representation, knowing that I can't do it on my own and kind of giving up some control.
I said that was the final question, but I got one more. I'm pretty sure you had the nickname changed there for a little bit, but you're back to JBC, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, it was that was just a PFL thing. I had to change it up, went to PFL. There's a lot of complications to get into PFL. I was tied into a contract with another promotion that wouldn't really let me out, and was making a big fuss, but wouldn't keep me busy, and across the world, and a lot of complications, and I had to make a lot of things work and pull a lot of strings and whatnot, and just wanted to be the Canadian bandit, come in there, take all the money and go. Didn't really work out the way I wanted to. I still got compensated great for PFL. I fought four times that year, like tons, which is a cool aspect of it. But coming back to Bellator, I went back to my original walkout song. I just was feeling it, original nickname, and felt good. Get back to my roots and go and dominate this guy, and that's exactly what I did. And I plan to follow that up, man. I can't wait. We're close here.
He's Jeremy Kennedy, JBC. He takes on Adam Borics, Bellator 256, April 9th. Jeremy, thanks for joining me, man. Just let people know where they can find you, social media universe, any fans or friends or people you want to shout out. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, pretty much everything comes through Instagram for me. I'm a big guy on that. I use Twitter a little bit, but I'm more of a creeper on Twitter. I follow, the up to date news and everything like that on Twitter with MMA World. But all my content typically is Instagram, Jeremy Kennedy 145. Sponsors for this fight, Oxygen Yoga Renfrew and BC. They've been a huge support. Foodie Fit out here, giving me meal prep, keeping my weight low and fueled and energized. And yeah, man, feel good. Greens and protein as well out here. They've been with me for a long time. So yeah,
Thanks a lot, man. Good luck, and can't wait to see you back inside the cage.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.